Hey guys, Sean here, and welcome to the F1 Word, powered by PlanetF1.com. So Sauber has announced that both Valtteri Bottas and Zhou Guanyu will leave the team at the end of the season, with Gabriel Bortoleto now confirmed as Nico Hülkenberg's teammate for 2025. But was this the right call? Well, first off, and the obvious answer is we won't know for sure until we see Bortoleto in action next season. However, it does feel like now is the right time to make a change and start to prepare for the future. That team is in transition, and there are a lot of changes on the horizon, so bringing in a young driver for the future can't be a bad thing. Hulkenberg is a huge experienced driver, so that ticks one box, and he will be a huge asset as the team transitions to Audi and starts work on its 2026 Challenger ahead of the big rules change. So whilst having more experience by, for example, keeping Bottas on board isn't a bad thing, looking further into the future and preparing for it is a very good move in my view. After all, Hulkenberg isn't likely to be sticking around for the long term, and so bringing in a youngster like Bortoleto gives the team options in the future. Bortoleto has had a strong season in Formula 2 and currently sits top of the championship by 4.5 points with just a couple of rounds still to go in 2024. He's won twice this year, the Austria and Monza feature races, has 5 podiums to his name and is consistently picking up points, having failed to score at just 2 races since Imola, which was preceded by 4 non-points finishes, including 3 consecutive DNFs. Going back a little bit further, he won the F3 Championship comfortably in his first season and could well be on course to become one of the few drivers to ever win F3 and F2 back-to-back. What an achievement that would be. No wonder he's so highly rated. Look, it won't be easy for him, and it'll be a steep learning curve, and given where Sauber are right now and the likelihood this car will predominantly carry over into 2025, it could well be a very tough season, but it gives him a year to cut his teeth and get to grips with the crazy world of Formula One without too much pressure on his shoulders, almost one of those out of the spotlight situations if you like, and he also gets to work alongside a hugely experienced driver, and that can only be a good thing. Ultimately, though, this is a great opportunity for him, obviously, and if he is half as good as McLaren in particular say he is, and to be fair, as he is demonstrating in Formula 2, he'll be a huge asset to Sauber and a cracking signing. All of this isn't exactly a huge shock given recent rumours, but it does feel like now is the right time to make that change. Of course, it is a shame for the 2 drivers who now find themselves without race seats, but that's just the world of Formula One. Drivers come and go all the time, and so now it's the turn of Bottas and Zhou to move on. And given the lack of seats available outside of a Red Bull shuffle, which neither of those drivers are going to be in contention for, the announcement looks set to end the full-time racing careers of both drivers. Zhou hasn't been anywhere near as horrific as some would lead you to believe, but he's also not exactly set the world alight during his 3-year stint in F1. He has been well beaten this season in the quali and race head-to-heads by his teammate, although he is beating him in the championship standings, sitting 21st with Bottas down in 23rd. During his time in F1, he scored 12 points from 65 starts and 6 points finishes, had a best finish across the 3 seasons of 8th and has shown glimpses of speed and potential, but he's never really fulfilled that, although that Sauber is not exactly a great car this year, and I think both drivers are probably doing all they can with it, so perhaps we can cut them a little bit of slack for 2024 to a certain extent. All of that said though, Bottas has been comfortably the strongest of the 2. Again, that shouldn't really be a massive surprise given the difference in experience between them. I mean, after all, Bottas joined the sport back in 2013 and has got, at time of this video going out, 243 race starts to his name, is a multiple race winner and was a big part of a number of Mercedes Constructors' Championship victories during his time with the team from 2017 to 2021. This year, though, has not been great, no doubt about that, and he's tried to extract the best he can from, again, a dreadful car, but scoring no points in 21 races, sitting 23rd in a 20-car championship and having an average quali and race finishing position of 15.33 and 15.65 respectively, doesn't exactly scream re-sign me, although I've got to say those numbers are not as bad as the results have felt at times this season. What I will add, though, is that when you've got a car that more often than not sees you stuck driving around at the back, or as we saw earlier in the season, the team delivering half-minute and minute-long pit stops, the only thing you can really do is beat your teammate, and he's done that pretty comprehensively in 2024. As of now, that battle sits at 20-1 to Bottas in quali and 14-7 in race finishes. That's overall, by the way. It's actually 12-6 in races they've both finished and 91 when they've both set a lap in quali. But at the end of the day, that is not even remotely close when you look at the numbers. As for the future of both of those drivers, we don't really know with Zhou. We'll see what happens. The only thing he said regarding his future beyond the end of this season is that he is feeling positive about it and is very much focused on making sure he can show what he is capable of and is discussing a number of options to stay in the F1 paddock. So perhaps a reserve role somewhere we'll see in the coming days and weeks, I'm sure. But for Bottas, it looks as though the Finn's best option for 2025 is a return to Mercedes as a reserve driver, and we'll see in the coming days and weeks if that rumour becomes a reality. And the only thing the Finn has said in his social media post-announcement was that he's excited for the future and what comes next. Maybe rallying, racing somewhere else. F1 isn't the only series out there after all. But yeah, a Mercedes reserve role is what the reports are saying as of right now. It would be good to see them both get race seats somewhere in another series in the future though. Super quickly, when it comes to the 2025 driver lineups, there is now only one seat officially available, and that is as Yuki Tsunoda's teammate at RB. Although, despite the fact he has a contract for next year, we still don't know for sure whether or not Sergio Perez will remain in F1 beyond Abu Dhabi, with Red Bull expected to confirm their lineups either way following the season finale. We shall see. What we do know, though, is that we've gone from a massively static market with 0 rookies joining full-time for the start of 2024 to having Kimi Antonelli, Jack Doohan and Gabriel Bortoleto, as well as Ollie Behrman, who has 3 races under his belt but is still young and inexperienced when it comes to F1, all on the grid next season. And if you throw in Liam Lawson and perhaps Franco Colapinto too, you never know, there really has been a big shift this year. But anyway, back to the topic of the video, let's summarise all this waffle. Overall then, I do think this is the right call from Sauber and at the right time as well. As I said earlier, they've got Hülkenberg signed up and so they're okay on the experience front, but bringing a young, fast and highly rated driver with seemingly bags of potential gives them the chance to look more long-term, prepare him to be Hülkenberg's potential replacement as team leader when he is ready to move on. I do also wonder if the team has looked at the reaction in South America to Franco Colapinto landing the Williams seat for the rest of this season, and that swayed the decision a little bit, maybe. Look at the number of sponsorship deals Williams has done lately as a result of the reaction of the fans in Brazil. Imagine what Sauber could do with that kind of passion and excitement from fans and sponsors, as well as all that focus on the team. Colapinto is an Argentine driver and the reaction in Brazil was incredible. Imagine that with a Brazilian driver. We've seen it plenty of times in the past over the years. Sure, yeah, they had the pull of the Chinese market from Zhou, but the draw Bortoleto brings could perhaps replace some of that. Although the Chinese market is enormous, so who knows? I'm not a financial or market expert, so I'll just leave it at that. There is just one final thing before I go. It is honestly a real shame we won't have any Finnish drivers racing in F1 next year now for the first time since 1988. But the other side of that is it is great to see a Brazilian driver back on the grid for 2025, and good luck to him. I think Sauber have got a very good driver there in Bortoleto, and I can't wait to see what he does next season. That is it then for this one, but what do you make of Sauber's decision to bring in Bortoleto? Do you think it's the right call, or do you think they should have stuck with one of their 2024 drivers? You can let me know in the comment section down below, and for the latest Formula One news and reaction, head on over to planetf1.com. Now, I will be back soon with some more content as always, but in the meantime, if you did enjoy this one, then please do leave a like, as it really does help the channel in its never-ending battle with the YouTube algorithm, and consider subscribing so you don't miss any future videos or streams. A quiet couple of weeks coming up, but lots of content from Vegas onwards. 3 races to go this year. I can't believe it's nearly over already. But as ever, thank you for watching. I've been Sean, this has been the F1 Word, and until next time, goodbye.